Hello! I have spent much of this summer running Beaver photography workshops in Kent, where my guests are at the front of canoes being paddled or chauffeured down to be on the water with these magnificent creatures that can finally, once again, call the UK home. I'm hoping that this video gives you a little insight into the general experience of the evening and also showcase what is possible photographically. Welcome to the River Stour, a chalk river with incredible clarity. For me, the river itself really does add an extra dimension to the evening. We get on the water at around 6:30 PM and slowly make our way downriver, giving us a chance to take in the beautiful surroundings and wildlife. There was an insane amount of swans this year, but there are also tons of nesting coots and moorhens, as well as herons, geese and ducks that call this river home. And if we were lucky, we were often treated to a flash of blue from the resident kingfishers. Jays and woodpeckers are often seen and heard in the surrounding trees. And in May, the cuckoos join the party. About 20 minutes into the paddle, we start to see clear evidence of beaver activity. In July this year, this naturally fallen willow tree made for a perfect beaver buffet. Barely a night went past when we didn't hear beavers gnawing away. Unfortunately for us photographers, this wasn't actually a particularly great place to photograph them, as they were often deep in the undergrowth. As you can hopefully see, beavers here tend to just strip the bark off larger trunks and branches, whilst choosing the smaller branches to gnaw off and carry away as a tasty snack. It can be a tough job to identify specific beavers, as, to be honest, most of them look very similar. So it's their tails that are used as a way to distinguish between different individuals. Beavers are very territorial animals and often get wounds and scars during scraps with each other. And it's these scars, unique to each animal, that can help researchers ID one beaver from another. But not all beavers have scars, particularly the younger ones, so in these cases it's actually the distinctive pattern of the scales on the tail that are used. You can think of it like the fingerprints of humans. When on land, beavers use their tail as a counterbalance. For instance, like here in this photo, when this beaver's attempting to reach for food that's nearly out of reach. They do have a surprising amount of strength and dexterity, particularly for a fairly clumsy looking animal. Now here, we have just passed the first beaver lodge on the river, but make our way further down to moor up and wait for the beavers to emerge and hopefully swim right past us. This is where being in a canoe comes into its own for photography, as we are already in the water and we can achieve a low shooting angle to try and get as close to eye level with the beaver as possible. These first two photos were taken from just using the camera to my eye, and this last one was using my flip out LCD camera screen and dangling my camera out of the side of the canoe for an extra low perspective. For me, the lower to the water you can get, the better for this type of photo. Once they're active and have swam further downriver, we then slowly and quietly paddle in the same direction to see if we can spot them swimming or, even better, munching away at some vegetation. If we haven't seen any beaver action over the next 200 metres paddling, then the best thing to do is to moor up again and wait for the beavers to come to us. Beavers can be tricky buggers to photograph, usually deciding to have their dinner in the darkest areas on the river. This means two things for photography. One, you can't be scared of using high ISO. Most of my beaver photos are taken between ISO 6400 all the way up to 12800. And the second thing is it's worth trying out some very low shutter speeds to try and counteract this. I regularly shoot as low as 1/100th of a second and sometimes even lower. Thankfully for us, we use two canoes which are rafted together, which gives us as steady a base as possible whilst being on the water. And then once the sun starts to dip and the light begins fading away, we make our way back upriver to call an end to the evening. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of my Beavers by Canoe workshops from this summer. I am putting on more of these workshops next May, so if you are interested in that or any other photography workshops, then you can find all of the information by clicking the link to my website below. If you have enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video. It really does help me out an awful lot. I will be seeing you next week for another video, but for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!